Not long ago, the CEO Society, our free closed community of adult creators, asked me, how do you go about building your team to support your adult creator business? And it made me think that I've never really gone into any crazy detail on how I built mine. So today I'm going to give you the broad view on how to build a team for your adult creator business. So step one in building a team for your adult creator business. The first thing you need to identify is what team member you need the most desperately. It could be a content editor to edit your photos or your video content. It might be a bookkeeper to manage your finances. That's one that gets away from a lot of adult creators. Or it can even be someone like a content scheduler, someone to help you schedule all your posts across all of your adult platforms. These kinds of tasks are what you need to identify and really get a feel for what's going to go the furthest for your business. That's the first person you want to hire into your empire. Now, once you identify who you're going to hire, you want to hire the best person you can afford that money can buy depending on your budget. Now, I've personally hired most of my independent contractors off of a website called Upwork.com. This is where I have my video editors from. This is where I found most of my virtual assistants. This is where I found a lot of the talent that I've actually come to welcome inside my businesses. Now, I want to preface this by saying Upwork.com is not sex worker friendly. I've had accounts deleted there, and you should be especially careful when setting up your profile and when posting job interviews to never mention adult work, the adult industry. Don't say OnlyFans. Don't see any of that stuff. You're going to get your profile deleted. But what I will suggest to you is when you're making job posts on Upwork, to phrase them under the guise of virtual assistant or executive assistant, copywriter needed, things like that, content editor. You can be vague in your job postings. This way you can scout talent and find the people that are best suited for the work before you get your profile deleted. Now, once you've got those people in mind, you've gone through, you've found people that really fit what you're looking for, whether content editor, virtual assistant, what have you, you can invite them to apply for jobs that you've listed on Upwork. Now, when you're doing so, you're going to get the opportunity, if they're interested, to actually message them on the platform itself. Now, when you're messaging them on Upwork, you don't want to say those keywords. You don't want to mention adult industry. You don't want to mention OnlyFans. But what I like to do is I ask them for their email address so that I can share documents with them to give them a broader scope of the job. So when I get that email address, the first thing I actually do is either share a doc that outlines the true job responsibilities. It tells them it's an adult industry related job. It asks them if they're okay with that. And if I don't have a doc lead for that, which I do, but I've done this a few times now, what you can do is just email them directly. Hey, I wanted to take this conversation off Upwork because the job that I'm actually hiring for is adult industry related. Is that something you're comfortable doing? If not, no hard feelings, we can move on our way. I just don't want to waste your time. I really respect your time. You want to go in with a very kind, very generous kind of first impression because this person kind of holds all the power. They can report your Upwork account and say that you're hiring for adult work, which violates terms of service. So make sure you're very kind, make sure you're clever in how you word things, and make sure you keep that conversation in an email chain and not in Upwork messages itself. Now, a benefit of Upwork is that you can actually hire for the job or project itself and have a set budget, or you can hire hourly. This is a really great benefit for creators who maybe aren't in a position to hire a virtual or executive assistant that they have, every single week during their business. Maybe you can't afford someone that's that committed or that long term, but you can set up a project where you're like, I need 5 videos edited, and the project-based pay that I'm willing to give for this is going to be budgeted at $500. And then you can get people who are still interested for that pay rate, but aren't like committed or going to be working for you long term. It can be project based or hourly. And this is a huge benefit for independent adult creators. And this is part of the reason I really fell in love with the Upwork process. Now, the next thing you're going to want to know is that on Upwork, you can actually pay the freelancers through Upwork itself. Of course, Upwork takes a fee. If you're able to hire people on Upwork, I do recommend paying them through Upwork, eating that fee cost, chalking it up to your business, because a lot of the freelancers on Upwork really want that reference of having worked this job for you. So when you hire someone off Upwork, there's going to be a history of the jobs that they've done, And they're gonna want it noted that they did this job for you, you gave them a review, it was a good job. They want those references because the more they can build references, the better jobs they can get hired for. So my preference is always to pay people through Upwork itself, because through Upwork, they can track their hours, they can track the project pay. But if you take them off of Upwork, it gets really messy very quickly, and Upwork watches this like a hawk. Now, I will say, I have taken people off of Upwork, and when you're dealing with people that are overseas, a virtual assistant, an executive assistant, a lot of the times, especially when you're a newer creator, you're hiring to your exchange rates advantage. So you might be hiring someone overseas from a foreign country that the exchange rate from the US dollar to their currency is worth a lot more, which allows you to get quality help at a much cheaper price. This is something a lot of businesses do. You can feel however you want. That's not what this video is about. However, when you're paying people overseas, if you do take them off of Upwork or you hire them off Fiverr, or wherever you find these people, you can pay them using a company in a platform called Wise. So WISE, Wise is a cash transfer app. For my overseas employees, this is what I like to use to pay them personally. It's a relatively fair fee for the exchange of what you pay, and also it's really convenient. They're going to get the money pretty quickly. It's not going to get held up. It's also pretty easy to track with bookkeeping, etc. Now, if you're hiring US based or paying locally, you can use a variety of different ways. You can invoice and pay through QuickBooks if that's what you use for bookkeeping. You can use PayPal or Cash App, whatever it is, you can use it, but you need to track it. So keep this in mind. You're going to want to track everything you pay to these freelancers when it comes down to tax time and having to provide that information of what expenses you had for your business. So now, once you've got this team member hired, the next step is to get them trained. I cannot stress this enough. It is your responsibility as the employer, even though they're not an employee, as the employer, you need to take time to invest in this person and train them. I can't tell you how many times I will go into a creative community conversation and have them tell me that they can't find good help, that every person they hire is just terrible. All of these like really harsh comments, when in reality, if you invest in people and you train them on things, you're gonna get a remarkable outcome. I have experienced this time and time again. I have been the worst person to work for. Selena, if you're watching this, you can attest to this. She was one of my very first virtual assistants. And we've come a long way. Like back then, there was no structures, no processes, no nothing. There was a Telegram message chat, and it was just a disaster. But now, I've come a long way, and I know a lot more how to be someone who manages other people, someone who leads a team. So I want you to know from the get-go how important it is to understand when you are hiring someone, it is going to take a lot of work on your part to get them started, to get them comfortable, and to get them to be self-sufficient in the role. It took you probably years to learn how to do all of the stuff that you do in your adult creator business. It's going to take them a few weeks of repeating a process or system to make that adjustment, understand the role and the tasks at hand. You need to invest in these people. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money, to be quite honest with you. Now, I want to go into this with a little bit more detail because I want there to be tangible and tactical things that you understand and you do amongst the first time you hire and train someone, because this was a mistake that I made. So the first time you hire someone, when you get to this training process, there are tools that can make your life much easier. I've trained and retrained many hires over the years, and one of the key mistakes I made was that I would train and not record any of it. So I would teach someone how to do something, they would work for my company for a while, maybe they leave, maybe they get let go, but then I have to retrain the next person, reinvest all of that time. Now the effort is always reinvested, but the time doesn't have to be. What I mean by that is you should be building out training materials when you train someone for the first time. Now, some of these training materials, they're gonna evolve over time. You're gonna have to update them. But when you're training that first person that's gonna work for you, you wanna record the training session. So should they leave or should you need to replace them, you have this video that you can pass to the next hire that they can learn from that video to understand the task and the process at hand. So there is a tool that I have found amazing for this. It is called Loom, Loom. Loom is a software. You can use it at its base for free. And what it does is it screen records whatever you're doing on your computer, and then it puts a little circle in the bottom corner that records you on camera talking. So basically, it's going to build out in real time a proper training video for whoever you're training. Now, if you're a creator and you're big on CEO Society or the CEO Squad, just the SWCEO channels, you know that we have this product called GPTs. GPTs is basically ChatGPT for adult creators. If you haven't played with it, go play with it. But in all of my GPT tutorials, and you can see those over on the GPT's YouTube channel, those are made using this software called Loom. So you'll see what my screen shows, you'll see where I click, and you'll see me talking on camera in the corner of the screen. This is what I recommend above all else because Loom videos are super easy to make. It's just like a Google Chrome extension. You click on it, it records your screen, it records you talking, it records your audio, and then boom, as soon as you finish recording, it populates the entire video and you can just click on a link and share it to whoever needs that information. Loom is the chef's kiss of quick and useful training videos. Now, the next common question I get asked about building a team is how do I share things and protect my privacy? So obviously with adult platforms, we have a lot of sensitive information. We have the platform itself, we have our age verification docs, our IDs, things of that nature. And while there isn't a great way to secure every possible thing, you should build trust and get references for people that you hire. I will say that what I found to be most useful is 1Password. 1Password is a system where you can build out a vault for any specific employee. So say you hire someone new, employee 1, freelancer 1, and you share a vault for freelancer 1. Inside this vault, you'll give them access to whatever passwords are necessary to do their job. So it'll have the username, the password, any 2FA codes, things like that. Now, when you share this vault for freelancer 1, they can click on it and it will autofill on their computer whenever they need to access that site. So say they need to go into Canva to create some share-for-share graphics for you. They will go into Canva, 1Password will auto-populate the username and the password. It'll still keep it all hidden, and then they can log in. If they need to get access to anything that has a 2FA code that's going to populate a code, 1Password will autofill the code for them so that they don't need to text you for something in your email or text you for a code that went to your phone. 1Password has been a lifesaver, and the best part about it is should that person ever leave your company, you can just remove access to that vault and they no longer have those passwords. Now, once you have identified who you need the most, once you have hired them, trained them, invested in them, given them access to all of your things, the final thing that I want to touch on is having a regular cadence. So when you have a team or when you're building a team, it's very important to keep a regular cadence, to have regular meetings with this team member, to suggest improvements, to give them additional trainings, to add additional tasks, to go over KPIs, key performance indicators. That's how you're going to measure the success of whatever it is they're doing. Are they supposed to edit 5 videos for you a week? Okay, well, at the weekly meeting, did they edit 5 videos for you for the week? Yes or no? Okay, now we can talk about why that did or didn't happen. You have to have this regular conversation with your team members because you need them to know that they have access to you as leadership, that they can ask you questions, that they can come to you with problems, and that they can have you help them when they need you as a resource or for support. For me, I like to start all regular cadence with someone new on a weekly basis. I've actually had regular weekly cadence with all of my team members up until very recently. And now I've moved to bi-weekly cadence just because I have too many meetings every week. So my suggestion is always talk to your team members weekly until you pretty much can't afford to give up a weekly time slot anymore. I've been having weekly cadence probably for the last 3 years for everyone in my business. So I would definitely suggest sticking with weekly for as long as you can to optimize your team, get the most out of your team for your money's worth, and also make them feel that they're a part of something. Make them enjoy their work. Make them like the company culture that you're setting because, to be quite honest, churn in our industry is very high. Working in the adult industry is not only hard, there's a lot of expectation, but also there's a lot of room for movement. Virtual assistants can leave one creator and go to another creator tomorrow. They're also going to take the things they learn and get better every time they get a new job. So when you're talking about virtual assistants, when you're talking about people you might hire to do the sexting for you on your platforms, when you're talking about editors and copywriters, all of these things are skill sets that these virtual assistants or personal assistants will continue to develop with or without you. So when it comes to churn, people turning over, people leaving one job for another, it's actually very high for virtual assistants inside the adult industry. It's high because most creators don't know how to train and manage talent, but it's also high because of the type of work we do. There's a lot of mobility for someone to leave one job and find another pretty easily. There's no shortage of people that need this kind of help being creators, and there's no shortage of help going around needing to get hired. So my advice is that when you really find good fits for your team, invest in them heavily and really try to build a culture inside your business that makes them want to stay with you. I really believe that everyone I work with inside my teams is in my corner. They want to see me do well. I want to see them do well. I try to match their jobs in their skill sets to things that they at least relatively enjoy doing. I want them to be happy here, and I want them to feel like we make a difference and that the work we do is fulfilling. So any chance you get to do that for them by having that weekly or bi-weekly cadence is super, super important. All right, so I hope that this gives you a nice broad level stroke of how to start hiring your team as an adult creator. First, you need to identify who you need most, who's going to go the most distance for taking back your time as a creator. What thing or task can you delegate that's going to give you the most time and energy back to do the one thing you can't have anyone else do for you, which is create the content. And on that topic of saving you time and helping you to create content, I do want to mention again our tool that we've developed here at SWCEO, GPT's AI. GPT's is essentially a ChatGPT product for adult creators. It does not replace adult creators in any way, but it works as an extension of you. So you can go into GPT's AI and ask it to help you script a video or to help you write a caption for a PPV to get the most unlocked conversion rate possible. These are the things GPT's is meant to help you do, and it's gonna be your first software tool that saves you the expense of having to hire anyone. So check out GPT's AI. It's free at its base level and it's linked down below. All right, guys, I hope you got value out of this video. I hope you're ready to start hiring your adult creator team, and I hope to see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe, turn on that bell notification, and like this video if you want more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.